The Cardano Foundation has just struck an official partnership with the province of Entre Rios in Argentina. As a part of today's video, I want to break down all of the details about this partnership, but I also want to talk about another area where I think the Cardano Foundation will be partnering next. What's up, Ada Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. I'm your host here, Free. Today, an exciting news day in terms of headlines for the Cardano community, as well as the entire country of Argentina. We've got an official announcement regarding a partnership between the Cardano Foundation and the governor or the government within Entre Rios, a province in Argentina. Now, I'm going to dive into this here first, but I also want to go ahead and lay down some of the backstory that has led up until this. I think there's been a lot of writing on the wall, which has been pointing to more adoption and more openness in terms of using Cardano specifically in Argentina. So I want to touch on two prior articles that have come out before this recent announcement. And then I also want to highlight where I think the Cardano Foundation will be putting their efforts into getting additional partnerships and wider adoption. That said, let's jump straight into today's first piece, where it states, the Cardano Foundation is delighted to announce a brand new partnership in Argentina following a public signing between one of the Cardano Foundation ambassadors and the governor of Entre Rios. His name is Fruguerio. The Cardano Foundation is collaborating with the province of Entre Rios in order to further blockchain adoption and blockchain development in that particular region. Now, they don't break down how exactly they plan on using the blockchain. But again, there were some articles that were released not too long ago, which I think give us a little bit of that intel. So let's go ahead and dive into the first one here. And it states, Cardano Foundation engages with Latin American governments. Again, these are both the gentlemen that were just signing this document here. Now, what's crazy is that this was taken 2 months ago. So if you are paying attention, and I actually released a video about this, you would have at least gotten a hint that there was definitely something in the works. Now I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit, and I'm going to read a couple of paragraphs here. But it states here that with respect to the initial visit done back in early April, the primary objective of the meeting was to exchange insights about the unique requirements and aspiration of each state concerning its vision and modernization initiatives. In addition, government officials in these countries have expressed keen interest in harnessing the power of blockchain technology and Cardano. Now, they also recognize the immense potential of this decentralized technology and are determined not to overlook the pivotal moment of the internet's evolution into Web3. I think there's going to be a lot of different nation states that are going to be on the right side of history, and there's going to be late adopters, right? Not everybody can be an early adopter. But with Argentina specifically, I think that they're really going to stand to benefit the most, given how early they are going to be adopting something as secure and as robust as Cardano. Now, I've got two minor pieces to continue on reading here, where it states that it's worth noting that several encounters between government representatives and the Cardano Foundation were instigated or started by Cardano ambassadors and proactive community members. Within the Project Catalyst framework, one can propose a project aimed at arranging comparable meetings, which could notably expedite Cardano's adoption. Of course, hindsight is 2020, but this is culminated in an official partnership. So congrats and a shout out to everybody who contributed into making this happen, and to also shout out Project Catalyst, right? Like, this is how we want to see these funds being used in order to really bring Cardano to the masses. Now, I want to take a moment here to highlight that, by the books, this is not a sexy announcement. This is not about a meme coin. This is not about DPIN. This is not about RWAs. This is not about NFTs. This is about a government adopting blockchain technology. Now, I mentioned this before. It seems like when we talk about Cardano, that's been their focus. Their focus has been to gain adoption by dealing with large-scale entities, for example, governments. So for this to finally happen, I think this is just the very beginning, but this is also going to be a real test of Cardano and how secure and reliable it really is. Let's finish this first article, and then we'll move into the second one. So it continues to read here. The governor believes that the most promising prospects lie in education and in streamlining public services for residents of Entre Rios, which would cut costs, save time, and reduce bureaucracy. So two key pieces there. He believes in education, so potentially using blockchain within the infrastructure for educational platforms or educational institutions, right? Where you could potentially register for schools, university, etc., or actually using the blockchain, right, to store content for education. I think there's a couple of different ways that that could culminate, but that's one of his beliefs, is that blockchain can better improve education. Number two, it highlights streamlining public services for residents. Imagine, for example, filing taxes or doing something that requires a lot of paperwork, a lot of manual input. Being able to do all of this on a blockchain not only streamlines the process, it adds a angle of transparency. It also adds an angle of immutability, and also adds an angle of accessibility for anybody who's got an internet connection. So that's really cool there. And that'll wrap it up for the first article. The second piece here that was a little bit of writing on the wall was surrounding a brand new laboratory that will be installed at the National Technological University, again, in Argentina. Now, keep in mind, this particular article was originally written in Spanish, so the translations are not going to be 100%. I'll do my best to quickly touch on this. But this was also released about a week after that initial visit was done in April. So again, if you're paying attention to some of these small details, you would have picked up as to what exactly is currently going on with Cardano and their growing relationship in Latin America, specifically in Argentina. So reach the goal of this brand new blockchain laboratory is to promote innovation and knowledge in the area of blockchain technology. That sounds extremely similar to what the governor of Entre Rios had also mentioned he saw in terms of value for Cardano in blockchain. Now, it reads here, in this sense, the institution also added that during the meeting that there's a possibility of the Cardano Academy becoming a unique teaching tool for UTN teachers and university students in their discussion. So again, imagine Cardano being the first sort of blockchain that they discuss or that they do research on when it comes to blockchain tech. Again, giving us a huge leg up here in that particular area. In closing, it states, on the other hand, through this movement, they also declared that this shows their interest in working on the use of Cardano Foundation's digital identity solution, or DID, in their blockchain to implement an academic registration system for university students. Again, I apologize for the slight differences in translations there, but in a nutshell, Cardano has developed its own digital identity solutions. I believe Atala Prism is actually being developed, I want to say by IOG, don't quote me on that. But imagine being able to use Cardano to have the university handle all of its registration duties. What's crazy about this, for me personally, is that whether we're in good times or bad times, bull market or bear market, this type of institutional adoption will make sure that the ecosystem is always and consistently thriving regardless of market conditions. There's been a lot of talk lately about how we have to have more on-chain data, more on-chain liquidity, and more on-chain transactions in order to sustain the APYs and the payouts that are going to stake pool operators and stake pool delegators. And this is one of the ways that that can be increased. Again, letting the average person use the blockchain, which obviously increases the amount of transactions occurring there, while they're also getting value in the security and the robustness of the Cardano blockchain. So that was sort of the second piece in terms of writing on the wall for me personally. Moving on to the third. And of course, before I dive into that, if you're enjoying today's content, please make sure to smash that thumbs up. It really does make a difference here. I appreciate you very much. If you want more of this, consider subscribing. If you have any questions, then go ahead and leave them down below. If you want to earn some additional tokens on top of your ADA, consider delegating or supporting the Dapp Central Stake Pool, which is stake pool ticker DAPP. Okay, jumping into this third piece here, and it's actually not visible, but if I get myself out of the way here, look at the very bottom here. In 2024, in Q4 of 2024, we're expecting for the Constitutional Convention, right, for Cardano, which is the first ever, to be signed in Argentina. So again, literally the stars are aligning. We've got ambassadors flying there. We've got JJ Seiler, the chief of staff for IOG, Charles's right-hand man, flying over there, meeting the community. We've got the Blockchain Academy, or the academic laboratory, being built in Argentina. And then we've got the official Cardano Constitution also being laid out there in Argentina as well. So again, let me know what you guys think down below, but governance is a huge piece here, and I don't think that they've taken this lightly. Argentina has also gone through its own sort of issues, right? Where Javier Milei, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about him in just a second. He's come to power, he's come to fame, and he's extremely beloved, right? And that's because the people in that country are extremely tired of people that were just continuing to inflate the value of their Argentinian fiat. So in that regard, he said, I'm going the opposite way. We're going to turn off the money printing and we're going to fix this. And what's one way to fix that? Well, that's by using blockchain technology, right? Using something like Cardano in order to make sure that everybody has a fair shot, but then that everything is out in the open and that everything is being done completely transparently. So we'll talk a little bit more about him here in just a moment. The next thing I want to highlight is the fact that over the course of the last couple of days, we've seen more of the Latin American community discussing crypto and Cardano. And we also even saw Charles Hoskinson responding to that. So we've got Dario Epstein, where it states here that he's the director of research for traders. But I also believe that he's a financial advisor to Javier Milei. And so here we have Dario stating, and this was released on May 30th, so just about 6 or 7 days ago, a tech company specialized in third generation blockchain with a focus on decentralized governments just called me and wants to establish itself in Argentina to develop knowledge in tech applications. Again, not 100% here in terms of the translations, but hopefully you guys sort of get the point. Now, there's not many third generation blockchains out there, Cardano being one of those, right? So Bitcoin, first generation, Ethereum, second generation, and of course, we've got Cardano as a third generation blockchain. Now, what's interesting is right after that, we've got Charles Hoskinson chiming in. I didn't know that Charles actually spoke, I think it's Spanish. It might be Spanish or Portuguese, correct me about the language there. But either way, Charles writes, over the past 8 years, developers from Argentina, like ATIX's Alan's Verbner, have been invaluable in the development of some of Cardano's technology. Now, Argentina has some of the brightest minds in our industry, and it's been a privilege to work with all of them. Right on the heels of that, we've got Dario responding, welcome, Charles, freedom plus talent. Now, again, that was about a week ago, right before we saw this official announcement coming out earlier today. So those were all of the clues as to everything that's been going on there in that particular area. Now, as the final cherry on top here, we have the Latin American Economic Forum that has just taken place on the 5th of June. So less than 24 hours ago. We've got Javier Milei, the official president right now within Argentina. And we've got his right-hand man down here, Dario Epstein. Again, hopefully you guys are connecting the dots. Now, look at this. We've got some of the sponsors of the event. We've got input, output. So even before this would have came out, you know, piecing the dots, seeing that JJ was already there, talking about everything else that I've already mentioned, this would have gave us a huge clue that definitely something was going on and that something was being worked on in Latin America. Now we've got a brief bit here with Javier Milei, who's actually speaking at the event. I'm going to turn the volume down here because, again, number one, I don't understand the language, but I just want to quickly show you guys that the team from Input Output was actually there in attendance. So here he is speaking. They'll show the room from time to time. I mean, you guys can see it's a pretty big event, right? So to have the key members from the Cardano community out there representing, listening in, what I think was definitely a privilege. So as we get ready to wrap up today's video, we've got Mauro, we've got Lucas, we've got a few other members from the Latin American community. We've got JJ Seiler there, the chief of staff for IOG, again, in attendance at that Latin American Economic Forum taking place earlier or late yesterday. Really, really cool to see. And again, for me, this is a huge step in the right direction when it comes to Cardano. Now, as I promised earlier, I also want to quickly highlight where I think we're going to be having additional partnerships when it comes to bigger or major governments. And so not too long ago, and actually back in 2023, we had the official Cardano Summit taking place in none other than Dubai in the UAE. Now, the UAE has been extremely lenient when it comes to crypto adoption, and they've also taken a very similar mindset to the governor of Entre Rios, which he mentioned, they don't want to miss this brand new opportunity and they don't want to miss this transition into Web3. Now, we've seen the 2024 Cardano Summit being re-announced to be taking place again in Dubai in UAE. And then we saw not too long ago the Cardano Foundation with Frederick Regard sitting down to actually strike a deal with different pieces, different partners in the UAE. So you do with that what you will. We've also seen an additional partnership when it comes to the police department in the UAE using Cardano's blockchain technology for a pilot in terms of storing ballistics information on the blockchain and spreading that through Interpol. So again, that's just my speculation, but I think that we're going to see something very similar crop up in the near future in terms of more government-based adoption in the UAE. That'll do it here for today's video, highlighting all of the recent updates when it comes to Cardano and this massive news surrounding the official partnership between the province of Entre Rios and the Cardano Foundation. Again, I hope you guys found this to be helpful. If you did, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. If it's your first time stopping by and you want more content like this, consider subscribing. And last but not least, if you have any questions, then make sure to leave a comment down below. That said, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.